feel like a DJ when I go live at first. 6, 7. Come on, BTC. Let's kill the audio. I'll keep listening to it, but let me turn it down a little bit here for myself so I don't get too distracted. Oh, what's going on, everybody? 46, so don't stop at 46.7 on me now. Yeah, so I was putting my son down. I was about to come into my office and get ready for my live stream tomorrow morning with Alan. I think Alan, I gotta double check with his schedule. No, Alan P is over in China, and he's supposed to be joining me tomorrow morning, so I was going to kind of get some notes ready. We're going to talk about Ethereum and the Ethereum ecosystem, but obviously you see here what happened. I was putting my son down. I got my alert that he's down for my wife watching him now, thank goodness. All right, so I got the alert that we broke this level, and especially now we broke this level, so we're just watching for 50K, see if we can hit 50K tonight. This is that long-term trend line I got on here, by the way. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. Let me do my usual introduction here. We just jumped right into it because we got a bit of a watch party here. Give me a minute, guys. I gotta go find one of my van by the river pictures. Where's my drive at? There we go. So one thing I'm gonna do, you guys are just here hanging out. We're just having fun tonight. I don't have nothing to talk about. I just saw it heading for 50K. I thought I'd light it up, do a little live stream for fun. But I got a nice glass of wine here. I'm gonna share something with y'all here in a second about that, though. Let me find one of my pictures. My vans by the rivers. Here we go. I really like this one. Boneholder at Boneholder on Twitter was nice enough a long time ago. Built me this little van by the river with Doge and Boneholder in it. But yeah, all right. So this is not financial advice. Anything you hear here, we're just this is me sharing my ideas, what I see in the market. Please do your own research, and if you end up just blindly taking trades, you're gonna end up living in a van down by the river. That said, with Boneholder and Doge here. With that said, let's surf our way to a van by the river. If you guys are also new on my YouTube, you'll see that most of my YouTube, on my Twitter notifications, if you're new to my channel, you'll see here, I want to explain this when you see this little dude surfing the wave. Now the wave is backwards because otherwise it looks like the wave is about to crash into the guy, so I had to put the man surfing and then the wave. But this represents us surfing market waves. And our style of trading at CTM, which is Jordan Lindsey's Conquering the Market program, is we're trying to catch the big moves in the market, the waves. We're not trying to, I'm not. Now, we've got guys that are very adept at trading, taking trades intraday. So within the span of a day, open a trade in the morning, close it by the end of the day type of thing. I got a ton of fans going, don't I? Hold on. I killed my miners, but I've got to turn off all the fans. Give me 2 seconds, guys. All right, little mic check the comments. Anyway, what I was saying was, we try to, it's more long-term trading. It's swing trading. When I enter a position, I'm hoping to ride that position for weeks, months, maybe even years. It depends on the type of trade and the type of account I'm in, right? So, got a little breakout in action here. I gotta go double check some on-chain metrics. Okay, let's see here. Lambo soon, sir. Wes asked if Lambo soon. Wes, I thought about buying a Lambo. I actually thought about it seriously with some of my trading profits because I'm starting between the YouTube channel and side businesses I have of Bitcoin mining and stuff like that. I actually thought, a Lamborghini. So when I asked about what I could use for business write-ups for marketing, they actually said that if you went and bought a Lamborghini and did it Bitcoin Orange and called it like that, and you advertised it on your channel, you could actually write it off. And so I'd actually thought about doing it, and I talked to the wife, and I'm like, I've got a sports car already. It's a little souped up, Eclipse and everything. I'm like, I just don't need a sports car. And we thought about it, so I think we're going to get an airplane instead. So I think I'm going to buy a private plane for a family plane instead of a Lamborghini. with my 2021 trading profit. So we'll see. Yeah, when airplane, I'll be asking. Does Lambo make a van? Lambo does make an SUV, don't they? Yeah, the Urus. All right, I am not going to get excited this time. Get excited this time, says Matt. Let's go. Can you do analysis on SNX, USDT, KuCoin? There's going to be a good short. Let's take a look at it right now. We're waiting for Bitcoin. Y'all start spamming chat if Bitcoin hits 50K while I look at SNX here. SNX is synthetics. Good. It's a really good play on the derivatives space. I'm going to pull up something here. We haven't looked at SNX in a while, but thank you for bringing that one up. SNX, you're asking about USDT on KuCoin? I don't know why the KuCoin feed, but okay. And you're asking whether there's going to be a good short or good long. Oh, I would definitely be long on this sucker. This is one of my favorite plays. I actually had some SNX for a while that got stopped out of, more or less. It wasn't actually a trading account, but I stopped myself out when it started to come back down here. And we played the breakout on it, and as it started to lose. So you see this parabolic trend line way back over here. I guess that was February. Yeah, so I had a position back in February. Why is this purple? Oh yeah, because I was doing a chart. Let me fix this not to be purple. It's annoying me right now. Hold on. Standard color. Y'all can still see it, I believe, out there. If y'all can't see anything, let me know. I'm still listening to Doge Wave. All right, so basically, you see this like parabolic trend line, and then probably another one. But yeah, when it started to lose momentum over here is where we got out of it. But right now, let me show you something before I talk about the chart. I haven't looked at this in a bit. I think this is, their site's messed up. Yeah, it just went offline. Okay, and then it's back. Okay, cool. Let's, and I'm getting really distracted by this Doge Wave music. I need to put on some more like chill synthwave type stuff. Yeah, I'm listening to some like lo-fi synthwave right now while we wait on Bitcoin to do its thing. Still late. Okay. All right. Yeah, SNX. All right. So if we go to DeFi Pulse, take a look at this. Look at the value locked in DeFi. It's nearing $100 billion in value locked in DeFi. That's a lot of value locked in DeFi, right? And then if you go to the derivatives market, you'll see synthetics is the #1 in the derivatives space. Nearly $2 billion locked in value in synthetics. Synthetics is used to generate derivatives. It's used in like I think wrapped Bitcoin uses synthetics. I can't remember exactly, but REN BTC is another one. But let's see here. But synthetics is a leader in that space. Let's see, global financial market. All right, if we go to images, I think there's a picture that's pretty common. I found it pretty quickly in another live stream here. There's a pretty powerful photo derivatives market. There's one that shows like silver, gold. Here we go, right here. Comparing money markets. Visual capitalist, maybe. All right, yeah. So you get your silver, you got cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, you got military spending, which is way bigger than all of cryptocurrency combined, the U.S. budget deficit, coins and banknotes, the Fed's balance sheet. And you've got billionaires, how much they hold, all the gold in the world. So this is total market cap of gold, apparently, which looks bigger on this chart than I was thinking. Fortune 500 companies, the full stock market, so the value of all the equities in the stock market. But New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, and all other exchanges combined. I guess this is global. Yep, global. So yeah, so we've got the Japanese Stock Exchange chain. Money supply, here's the full money supply, all the money that's out there, basically M2 money supply, M1 and M2. Global debt, huge, like people owe a lot of money out there, right? Global debt, global real estate, so this is all the real estate value, global wealth, and then the derivatives market. This is where synthetics is playing. Not that synthetics will be worth, that much, but that's the derivatives market's a huge market. So, yeah, there's a lot of upside for players in the derivatives space. So, coloring that little bit of information in there about the upside of this potential project, I would not be looking to go short on this, especially what we might be having like a DeFi Summer 2.0 like we had last year. And that was DeFi Summer over here. It made a big move, right, into the summer, and then it cooled off while Bitcoin did its thing, and then obviously all the cryptos went crazy. So yeah, we had played this in DeFi Summer too. That was one of my light plays in DeFi Summer. All right, but I would definitely be looking for longs on this. You can see here that this peak right here, we came back into that peak to test it as support, went below it, found, eventually recovered, and then tested it one more time, and then made a full recovery, and now we're back off to the races over here. You broke this little bit of a high here, consolidating. You know, I don't know. I don't want to do a lot of looking at the Bitcoin. Looks like it's about to break 50K, so I'll get back on that for now. But yeah, I mean, I would be looking for longs on that just because of the potential is huge. Oh, here's my rocket ship. Yes, perfect. So this I tweeted earlier. You know, is this a rocket ship? Is this a rocket pad? And we're breaking out of the rocket ship pad. 400. Let's get rid of the question mark. We're definitely on the breakout side of this thing now. Let's put my rocket on this side, and we will see what happens. Let's zoom in and watch for the 50K tick. Yeah, so synthetics, good play. Definitely a good play. ADA's going for 3. We'll watch Bitcoin right now, but yeah, let's flip to ADA. Hold on, I got all my USD charts here. Oh my goodness! Oh, look at you. Way to go, baby. Good job. I like it. I like it a lot. Boom. And we just broke out to the all-time highs. Let's get rid of all these. Let's just remove all the drawings here. Boom. Cardano. Let's see what my new little toy Elrond is doing. He's lagging a little bit there. Ada's making a move. Matic. I think Alan's going to be live with me tomorrow morning. I was actually going to get the white paper out and start marking up some stuff on the white paper just to ask Alan questions about stuff mainly. Alan knows more about the Layer 2 technologies than I do, so I wanted to make sure that we ask some good questions to Alan. See if you got any other questions. Did I answer your question on synthetics? Alan P, time to sleep after the bull market. Let's see, what time is it currently in Shanghai? Which is, he lives in I don't know how to say it. I always say it wrong. I always want to say Denali. What's the name of the place, the province he's in? But let me see here. Current time. I look up current time in Hong Kong or Shanghai. It's pretty close. They're all in that kind of, I guess it would be East Coast. It's 10 o'clock in the morning for him, so I haven't heard back as if he's a go for tomorrow morning. Saturday morning, guys. Saturday morning, I'm actually going to be talking to, it'll be late at night but the Alan Al is coming back on for another video. He's the CTM on-chain expert. And so Alan and I are going to have our second chat that we're going to record and upload. That video will be out Monday. So, and now Alan's a very long-term, you know, on-chain focused, and so we're gonna be just going through some of his tweets, letting him explain some things. I've got some questions for him about some of the on-chain stuff that he's been working on, and some of his he's been working on some modeling. I jokingly said I made a couple of jokes about some things he posted here. First one was this orange wick down. I was like, please get rid of that little orange wick down. We want only up here. I don't want to be stopped out. But yeah, Alan Al is joining me for a video about Monday. $3 watch party. Yeah, maybe I should have called it ADA's, man. ADA's racing ahead. Look at this. Boom! I love it. Go Cardano. I'm saying it wrong on purpose. All right, Cardano. So I actually thought about earlier today. I was looking at this. I looked at this and thought about tweeting this out. I said, you know, we watch these like parabolic trend lines and try to exit, but this is where Matic did this to me a bunch last year. I kept getting like having to jump back in and out of Matic. But when you have this like this really strong move and you lose this trend line, sometimes it just consolidates sideways. Like this one was a fake out. Went back to the upside, so maybe we should have been watching this anyway. Sort of move that a little bit, but yeah, so that one faked us out a little bit there. If I had to move that to that touch there, anyway, nonetheless, it didn't resume down. So what I look for a lot on these is I look for it to break down and then resume off. And this one just kind of, you know, it consolidated under that and then went back up above it. But this is ADA BTC is breaking out to the upside over here again. On the BTC chart, this was my original take profit. A long time ago, I said this yellow line was my take profit. My first take profit, my second take profit on ADA trades. So the way things worked out, I'm pretty heavily in on Bitcoin right now, leveraged. So I probably will not take too much profit on ADA. I mean, I'll take a little bit there if we get up there. I'm starting to DCA into Elrond a little bit, as I did the video yesterday, my live, and then this morning I just did the edited version of the Elrond breakdown video. It's got a lot of potential, obviously. Let's see, let's look at our market cap. Bitcoin is almost nearing $1 trillion again. That's another big. Oh, I'm gonna share this with y'all. So Bitcoin's closing in on $1 trillion too. So we break 50K. Just above 50K is $1 trillion. It's I think I have a chart. That's the. Where's that one at? It's the Bitcoin market cap chart. Where's that at? No. Is it this one? No, sorry. I'm trying to find the Bitcoin market cap chart. Here it is. 934B right now. There's $1 trillion. There's your $1 trillion market cap right up there. We're not too far below it. 50K, you have to break 50K. It'd be about, what, 53 or something. So I've got a nice glass of Napa Cab here. I'm gonna share this with you. Hoshoshi earlier tweeted out. I can find my tweet. I was kind of a lot on Twitter today. Let's see here. Let me find my hash response. Hoshoshi tweeted. He tweeted a thing about wine. I was like, that's crazy. Investing in wine, which he's one of my favorite, YouTubers. Totally have a. Yeah, I love his channel. Great stuff. He's a Ethereum developer actually, so he knows his stuff. But he's just investing. I said, interesting. My wife is a sales manager for wine in Napa. We have like 400 bottles at our house. No joke. It's our personal stash because she gets so much free wine, and then I buy Napa cabs. And this is a nice Napa cab that they have that I'm drinking here. Is this gonna hit 50K or not? You gonna embarrass me here, Bitcoin? Looks good. It looks good. We broke this little level on the 1 hour here. What I'm seeing on the 1 hour. What I was looking at. Go back to this is a busy chart. Let me get off a less busy chart here. Yeah, this one here. This is KuCoin's feed. Get rid of this. So everybody knows we broke that. This is that long-term trend line from the all-time high in December 2017 through the peak that we put in January, the low here, and that's what we were riding. But the daily Heath level resistance is this one right here. So let's see if we can break it and stay above it, or if we just get rejected here. I would imagine with as close to 50K as we are, the market's going to want to at least ping it and then probably come back to this 49.8 or 4 level for a bit and see if it can hold the support. My guess would be no. My guess would be we hit 50, we get a little bounce there and then back down and then find support down here below this line. But we'll see what happens. I mean, if it just breaks out hard, you never know. ADA $3. Oh my goodness! Congrats at my ADA peeps. ADA $3. I got to tweet about that, man. My goodness, that's been quite the journey. Look at this. When did we first buy this? I mean, we start building our positions way back here, and yeah, I remember doing a video. I had already built a lot, but I was still trying to build a bigger portfolio. So right through here, yeah. When I started really consolidating, I said, yeah, I started buying every dip below 50 cents really aggressively, right? 15 cents right here. Yep. That worked out well, huh? This whole consolidation thing I saw, I was like, oh my goodness. Because I think it was this level. Yeah, 15 cents right here. Every dip below it I was buying. Bought. And that worked out. But yeah, it's been quite the journey. I think it went from 2 cents in the big collapse. It was down to below 2 cents. Can y'all believe that? From 2 cents to $3? What is that? Congrats, though. $3 ADA. That's nuts. That's just insane. That's 12,000% gain in less than 2 years. Yeah, I don't know much it's done better than that, right? ADA was ripping. ADA's ripping. Yeah, Walter says, careful with the rockets. They've spelt disaster before. Well, that's why I put a question mark on it, right? So I did tweet it out. In fairness, I did tweet it with a question mark this time, so maybe that helped us out, right? This was a joke. I was not being super serious with this. Let me show you all the fractal, though. It actually lines up okay over here. I was just like, all right, what I thought was interesting when I was like just working on trying to see if I could find like a really repeating pattern was just the symmetry. Look at the top. That's exactly the level I'm watching for the top of my box, and then it comes right back. This is a big wick that we probably don't get a wick this big, obviously. There's too much market cap for it to be. It's a lot more liquid now. It's not going to be this illiquid, but it does. Interesting that it went up, touched the bottom of my box, initially got rejected, pinged off of the support that I have, the key support I'm watching, consolidated right around my key midpoint 50% level, and hit the top of the box, and then it went back down. That's what I found fascinating. I'm not trying to say this is going to happen. I just found it fascinating. The size of the moves line up exactly to what I'm looking at with the levels I was actually just watching on my chart. First of all, thank you, says KF. And when I asked you about SNX USD, what I meant was long or short for near term, let's say a day trade or 2 or 3 day swing trade kind of thing. I don't really trade like that, so I have a hard time giving you advice. Go check out Heath's channel and ask Heath probably, but I trade that sort of time frame on the BTC chart, really. And on the BTC chart, it might be a bit of a short here. It's consolidating on some resistance, some support, so maybe not. SNX one more time. Really short. Let's just for fun, I'm going to break down a short-term idea here. See if I can't find something. And I may not, right? There may not be an answer. We got an uptrend. So you get this from this low here. You're in pretty much an uptrend. Probably draw a channel right around this for sure. There you go. Get a bit of an uptrend. Got a channel going on there. It's broken out above it a couple times. I would say, look at the daily levels. What you're looking for a trade on this, I would look for a long, because you're in an uptrend, right, on this time frame. On that short of time frame you're talking about, it's in an uptrend, okay? So it's perspective as to what time frame you're talking about as an uptrend or downtrend. But in this time frame, in a day or two trade, it's an uptrend. What I'd be looking for is it to come back to this level here. You see where the bulls took control, the daily close of SNX right here, $11. And the bears had control, the bulls took over. That reversal, the closing price should be support. So your next resistance, you're kind of on it. You're creating new resistance here, or this turnaround here potentially, but you kind of ran into it right there. Now you're back below it. So what I'd be looking for is I'd be looking for this to make its way back down to touch that level. And it would be great if it also came in right in line with that trend line that we just drew, right? So you have a trend line support and a horizontal support. That's where I would buy. And then I'd put a really tight stop loss underneath that wick right there. And I'd try to play a bounce. And your initial take profit would be this resistance you're building right now at the daily close. So that's a really short-term trade in an uptrend. What you're looking for is you're looking to see if this looks like it's going to hold as resistance and curl over, or if it's going to consolidate under and break through to keep riding that maybe and take profit up a touch of this upper trend line up here, possibly. But that's your initial take profits. That'd be your trade idea on a short-term trade idea. Would be to wait for it to come back into support, and then had a nice tight stop loss and try to ride it up. A little trade like that. So a trade idea on that would look like this. This is a short position. I would go long. I said long position is what we're looking for because you are in an uptrend. So if you take that entry coming into that touch, your stop's there, your take profits there. That's a 4.6 to 1 trade with about a probably 40% chance of working in your favor. So it's really good, right? So if you do that, if you take 10 of these trades, you're going to lose 6. You're going to win 4, or something like that. Maybe win 3, lose 7 even on this type of a stop loss. Maybe put the stop loss right below this wick over here, just give yourself a little bit of room. So if you do that, you turn it down to a 4 to 1, you probably increase your odds of winning this trade from a 30% to 40%, and it's probably worth losing that little bit of gain there. So if I take this and I say that my odds of this trade working out are, I would say 40%. I do that 10 times over, right? I'll lose 6 for a small 1% loss, but then my gain is 3.7% potential gain, right? So if I do that 10 times in a row and I lose 1% 6 times, I lost 6%, but I gain 3.5% 4 times, then I'm up 12, 14%, and I lost 6%. So you're a net gain of 8% on those 10 trades if you were to take the exact same trade over and over and over again. That's how that's how trading works, right? It's just math. It's just the probability of the odds that you hold this support and you go back up to that resistance versus getting stopped out. The odds of that happening, again, if this is 30 to 40%, you're going to be a winner because of the risk reward is in your favor in that type of trade. And you do it, and it might not work. Like this particular trade, you have to be emotionless about it. This is just odds. You're just playing the odds. You come into this, you buy, you set your stop loss, you walk away, go get coffee. Don't even think about it, right? And you can even just set your orders, right? Just set your take profit and then look for the next trade. And if you're just emotionless about it and routine about it and you just keep taking these trades, you're going to win over time. And the really good thing is when you get a winner, like if it really strongly bounces off of here and you see it kind of consolidating under this, you may hold off and not take profit. You may take a little bit off the table, take 10%, 25%, whatever you want to take off, and let the rest ride, and then move your stop loss to break even. So what you do is when you see a big bounce like that, immediately just don't let it become a losing trade. So if it bounces nicely, immediately move your stop loss to break even. Comes into your take profit, take a little bit of profit. Now you have a profitable trade, a small profitable trade. Now you have a free trade on, and you can see if this consolidates underneath here and breaks through for an even bigger trade. That's how pushing your trades, that's how you become a real profitable trader, is the little nuances of knowing when to move your stops. It's just risk management. It's initially risk management. Well, I'm watching BTC tonight, so I'm just randomly talking about this, sorry, but it's initially constantly having the right entries, the right risk reward profile, and the right initial risk management. And then it's trade management. It's purely then becoming going from this will make you at least a break-even trader, maybe slightly profitable, but this alone will probably make you more or less a break-even trader. The trick to becoming a profitable trader is then to know that as soon as it touches this line, what you're going to do is two things. You're going to take 10, 25% off, move this stop loss to break even. Now you have a slightly in profit trade, and you can watch. And if this starts to curl over on you, like you watch in the 1 hour or some lower time frame, if it starts to curl over on you and it takes out a wick low of a couple of test wicks here, then go ahead and take the rest of your profit and boom, you're out of the trade. You had a nice profitable trade. If it doesn't, if it consolidates under here and keeps making higher low wicks, it's probably going to break through and give you a bigger trade. You just keep pushing that trade as far as it'll go. You just keep watching until you see it having signs of turning over on you. And then at that point, the next thing you do is if it breaks through to that next level, you move your stop loss on up to where closer where you would have taken profit. Below, maybe find a wick, another test wick, this wick right here. If you have a breakthrough, retest. Grab that test week, put your stop loss right below that, and keep pushing that trade, keep pushing that trade, keep pushing that trade until it doesn't want to go anymore, right? And then so hopefully what you grab, one of those, you do it 10 times over, you're going to lose 4, you're going to have 6 winners, and 1 or 2 of these things is going to break through here, and you're going to be able to watch it, move your stops, and it's going to break through here, and it's going to break through here. You're going to have a monster winner on your hands. That happens, maybe 1 in 20 trades, and that's really what you're looking for. And then that really makes your whole, month or, sometimes even year, depending on how big your trades are. All right. Hi, Mindy A. I'm doing good. Thank you. Ada ripping. Let's go back over here. We're going to hit 50K Bitcoin. Sorry, guys. I think the market saw that I drew a price line in here, and it saw this line. And it's a trend line. I need to stop right there, but it kind of is a trend line, isn't it? So if we draw from this peak on ADA to that peak on ADA, that's what we're coming into right now, right? So we'll see if we consolidate under the same thing. Like if I go to a low time frame and I start watching these wicks, all right? So what I saw here, what I'm seeing, so it's just me observing the markets. If I was in an active trade, which I'm currently not on Cardano in an active trade, if I was in an active trade on Cardano, which I probably should be, This is the parabolic trend line I'm watching now that we've had this consolidation. I'm watching for a break of this to the downside, right, depending on where I entered at. But I'm also now watching, so we had all this consolidation, we had a breakthrough, but we're coming into resistance here. What I'm watching, and it should now consolidate below this and break through. But obviously, the market can do whatever it wants. It can break back down to the upside. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch, another test here and then break through. And it might go out. It might go for a quick this is a stop loss hunt. If it did something like that, right? It's going to go for stop losses. People are going to set their stop losses right below this wick right here and get just barely below that and then burst to the upside, right? So the algos will drive that type of price action. So this is kind of, a little bit of knowing algos and stuff in the crypto markets. You're going to have to set a mechanical. This is, and in crypto, that's why I set my mechanical stop so far. My mechanical stop would stay down here because algos just love to raid, these closer stops. But I keep my mechanical stop out of range of any reasonable algo hunt. And if the market as total pushes it this far down, what's probably going to happen is you lost this trend line. And either you're just going to consolidate sideways and I can get back in on the next entry to the upside, or it's probably going to break down at that point. But what I try to do is I try to shortcut my mechanical stop losses in crypto. Keep them at a safe level away from algos. And then I watch manually, and I see if I see the signs of breaking down, I'll go ahead and take my profit myself, and not let the algos hunt my liquidity, hunt my stops. We're getting closer. BTC. Let me get back on BTC. Where the heck? Oh, 802. Here we go. Let's do this thing, Bitcoin. What else we got? What other kind of questions? $3 ADA. I'm just randomly talking, guys. Just not financial advice. Yes, I'm probably going to talk a little bit of Poly, Matic. It's still Matic on my charts. I call it Matic. Sorry, guys. I know it's renamed Polygon. Loop Ring, Matic. Alan and I, we got a little bit more into Loop Ring. And that was a bit of a mistake. Obviously, Matic started to move. So I think Alan and I kind of both flipped gears a little bit and moved from Loop Ring to Matic when Matic started making its moves. You just never know. I talked about Matic. I first bought Matic, early this year. I think it was like 2 cents. Now, I didn't buy a lot of it, so I don't think I'm like mega wealthy because I bought, a big bag of it and sold it. I just bought a little bit, right, at 2 cents, and then it just blew up. And so, but we took some trades on it. Matic was nice. But as far as the technology, somebody just asked me this about, in the context of Elrond versus Cardano. Somebody pinged me. I get a lot of DMs, so it's a DM conversation I had. But somebody asked me and said, "Hey, so what is your thoughts on like the layer 2? Do you think that having like a layer 2 scaling solution kind of integrated with Cardano is gonna cause problems for its adoption and user interface and usability and all sort of stuff?" And so we talked through that, and I said, well, I think the dark horse in this whole thing is Matic because, if you're used to using a layer 1 protocol like Ethereum and you start trying to use layer 2, it is kind of a kludgy experience going from one to the other. But if you start fresh in layer 2 and you stick in the layer 2 environment and that's what it's going to be a pretty seamless experience. And obviously the layer 2 networks, Loop Ring, Matic are two of the ones that I watch more closely. Their UIs continue to improve, and they continue to provide more and more things. But Loop Ring especially, it's an actual exchange, right? But Matic is like, to me, the dark horse, because if we look at, between Cardano and Elrond and Avalanche and Ethereum 2.0 and Polkadot and all these great crypto projects that are doing slightly different things. Some have their strengths and their weaknesses, but really when you look at honestly, probably Polkadot would be in this conversation. Cardano and Elrond are basically infinitely scalable. I mean, they have the capability to scale up to such ridiculous magnitudes. And ETH 2.0 is going to have quite a bit of scaling, but it's still going to need layer 2. But with layer 2 even, right, but from the layer 1 perspective, you got Cardano and Elrond. I think based on my understanding of the technologies of them, I think they're pretty much, in theory, infinitely scalable. So when you have more and more, and Avalanche is maybe close there too, right? Especially on the smart contract side. Avalanche probably has the fastest, smartest smart contract finality. But when you have all these like infinitely scalable layer 1s, what's the differentiator between the layer 1s, right? It's more the community and the development efforts, everything else going on. But each of them has their advantages. For example, Avalanche has probably the fastest smart contract finality. In theory, the way that Elrond does the smart contract state, it can split up state for smart contracts across multiple shards. It has a very fast smart contract engine, and it's VM, it's WASM, VM. And then you look at Cardano, the development effort, the reliability, the academic rigor, and all the stuff that went into it, and then the community, and there's just a lot going on with it, right? But they all have their advantages. And so if you take one big network like Matic, and it connects to an Algorand, another Algorand has some of the fastest transaction speeds, right? So you take and you have if Matic builds an Uber layer 2 with connections into Algorand for very fast transactions for some things, and then it has connections to Avalanche for smart contracts, and maybe Elrond for some exchange components, and maybe Cardano for its kind of vast ecosystem of things, and then maybe even Polkadot and connects to some of those projects in there, and then it also obviously it's on top of Ethereum as it is already. So you get all the benefits of the full Ethereum ecosystem in theory. If you have an Uber layer 2 that can kind of do everything, then it does make the layer 1s, and if you have multiple infinitely scalable layer 1s, then what's the advantage of a layer 1 versus another layer 1? Whereas if you can just use one network, one Uber layer 2 that connects to everybody, that everybody's developing on, has a really good user experience, so forth and so on, maybe that's the way the market gravitates. I don't know. That's just a long-winded. But we'll talk about the mechanics of how, right now today, Matic started with Plasma sidechains. So the whole sidechain infrastructure, the way it works, it doesn't have, the reason loopring is a little bit better for it's built on an exchange. It's an exchange is the rollups. It uses snarks and rollups, which are much faster finality for transactions, and then it has the full power of the blockchain. Whereas in theory, a sidechain has to maintain its own security, and then you still get transaction finality on the main chain. So there's still some advantages there. But Polygon, they rebranded from Matic to Polygon because they're building out. Now they're doing, they're going to have roll-up capabilities, and so they're going to have roll-ups and sidechains. So they're going to be kind of, again, like this Uber layer 2. So they're very interesting. They're the dark horse. I will maintain, basically I've split. The reason everybody keeps asking me, why is your Ethereum so low? One of the big reasons my Ethereum is low in comparison is, A, I'm playing the higher upside projects in Cardano and now Elrond. And I have, my Polkadot and Link in there. But it's because I added Matic. And Matic, basically the way I'm looking, and Loopring, right? So the way I'm looking at it is, to me, Ethereum is important, and its burn mechanism is my biggest of the three. But I combine my total allocation into Ethereum is now split between Ethereum, or Ether itself, Matic, and Loopring. So I've got a little bit of that whole ecosystem of things. So that's another reason my Ethereum percentage has dropped below Cardano. Normally, Ethereum and Cardano I keep about the same level. But because I've diversified my Ethereum investment into Matic and Loopring, then that makes the actual Ether portion of it smaller than what I maintain for my long-term position in Cardano. So, all right, I just went on a random rant, didn't I? We'll talk more about it. We'll have Alan explain it tomorrow. We'll ask him about the differences between. Let me know what you want me to ask Alan. This is perfect. Now we're sitting here watching this, waiting for Bitcoin to possibly do its thing. Let me know what y'all want to ask Alan tomorrow morning. So Alan, he's very plugged into what's going on with Ethereum. He's very focused on Ethereum and the Ethereum ecosystem, the side chains, NFTs, that type of stuff. So obviously we're going to talk about NFTs tomorrow a little bit. Talk about core Ethereum, what's going on with the burn, EIP 1559 burn. We're burning a lot of tokens like crazy. And then layer 2, which is incredibly important. I do want to ask, Alan, about some Ethereum 2.0 stuff. Where are we at with that? And talk about that a little bit. But let me know what y'all want me to ask Alan tomorrow. But we'll ask Alan about his thoughts on, Loopring and the what they've been doing with rollups, and Matic, what they've been doing with the Plasma sidechain, and now Matic having both the Plasma sidechain and rollups and some other things. Let me look at Polygon's website. There was something else that they said they're going to be doing. Not polynomial time. Polygon. Ethereum's Internet of Blockchains. Let me look at comments though. I got a Hey Trooper. Did I miss anybody's questions? ASOM. What kind of aircraft? Volt. I'm looking at a Bonanza. I'm looking at a King Air C90. Right there. That's what I want. King Air C90. I want a twin turboprop. I want a turbine. I don't want a turbo piston. I want a turbine, dual turbine engine for safety. My family's going to be flying in it. My 1-year-old son, which by the time I get my pilot's license and get the plane, it'll be a couple of years. It'll be 2 or 3 by then at least. But I want a plane that can reliably fly on a single engine. And then I'm going to train the heck out of learning to fly it in the event of a single engine failure. Which what I've come to understand is that really the biggest reason that twin engine planes crash is because the asymmetric. So when you have asymmetric thrust, you have one side. It creates a lot of weird dynamics in an airplane that you have to really know how to manage. And so the other thing is that if you have a piston-driven twin engine aircraft, it's you just don't have as much power as you can. You can glide further. Basically, all it becomes is a 1-engine glider, right? You can't actually maintain altitude typically, especially if you have anything to fly around or whatever. But you can glide a little bit further than a single engine. But it's almost easier to have a single engine failure because it's just less drag and it's easier to manage as a glider, getting that down and landing safely than a twin engine sometimes. But if you get basically a jet turbine driven twin prop, then you have enough power on the other engine to where the asymmetric thrust with proper training you can overcome that pretty easily, and really realistically if you're over water or something you have to fly a reasonable distance, you can make it pretty safely to a good airport that you can land safely at. So that's what I'm looking at. This is a pretty nice interior. I probably won't buy one this plush. I'll buy like an 80s or 90s one and then have to gut it and paint it and redo it and stuff like that. But that's what I'm researching. They're not cheap to maintain either. These turboprop engines are not cheap. So we'll see. See if that's what I go with. Is it gonna hit 50K? All right. Do you trade on behalf of others with money? I know some companies that trade. I don't trade on behalf of others with their money, other than the closest I come to that is the only people I give like buy and sell signal to are my brother and my mom. So they have literally all they have is Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's it. Right? I don't tell them to buy. I don't mess with it. I don't, because it's hard. They're on Gemini. Set up an account. They don't have if they had Cardano and Gemini, they'd have some Cardano. I think my brother might have a little bit of Link actually too, because it's available there on and maybe Matic. I don't know. He might have bought some of those stuff, but I tell them buy Bitcoin now. Sell 10% of your Bitcoin. Sell 10% of your Ethereum. Flip 10% of your Ethereum for Bitcoin. I send them. They're the only people I send alerts to. I don't manage their money for them, but I send them alerts. But yeah, I got my brother out. Same time I got out over here. This when we lost the 120. I said, all right, we need to get defensive. I want you to sell 50% of your Bitcoin. And I think I'd already had him transfer his Ethereum. We transferred a bunch of Bitcoin into ETH for the big run, and then I had him sell that before this, and then I had him sell his Bitcoin, and then I had him buy back same time I bought over here. I mean, by the time I told him it was a little bit later, so I think he probably bought at 34K by the time he got around to doing it. But that's the only people I give actual like trading alerts to. It's my mom and my brother. Everybody else, you guys figure it out on your own. I don't want the liability of trying to give a trading alert service or managing somebody else's money either. Thank you, Edward. I'm glad you enjoy the TA. Hopefully, he did do Matic already. Yeah, I talked about Matic a little bit ago. I just went on a rant about it. So, VXV is clearly climbing the ranks. Yeah, this is my. This thing's becoming a bigger part of my portfolio. This was my one really strongly suggested small cap. Yeah, we're up to 642. My goodness. So yeah, I recommended this at 20 cents, and it's at 642. So what kind of gain is that? There's not even a chart for it. Look, like there was for a little bit, a Uniswap VXV ETH chart. Vector space. Yeah, there's not even a chart for it. I can't even measure what kind of gain we have on it. Yeah, so I have a bag of VXV out there still. Probably looking at taking some profit around $10 again. So let me show you my VXV trade. So we bought it over here at, yeah, I guess late last year, maybe 15 cents, 20 cents. We initially sold on this peak over here when we lost this area. A couple bucks sold. I think I sold some at 2 and then some at 2, something like that. And then you see this. I drew this trend line through here. I guess it's about the same on the BTC chart. There's a downtrend. When we broke above this downtrend, retested and resumed. We added back here, and then I closed some over here, and then I re-added on this break of this downtrend over here a little bit ago. So yeah, it's been a really good trade. It's definitely climbed the ranks as far as, I mean, this is a couple % of my portfolio now, and it started out as what, 0.1%, 0.5%. I mean, at one point it was I bought 1% of it for this early part of the play, then I rotated largely back into Bitcoin. But yeah, that was one of my micro cap gems, and it's blown up. Somebody do the math. If I would go from 20 cents to $6, and it's a bigger winner than Cardano. Oh, it's about the same as Cardano, right? So we bought Cardano at 9-10 cents, and Cardano is now $3, whereas we bought that at roughly twice, maybe 15 cents, 20 cents, and it's at $6. So I guess they're pretty close in gain. Yeah. And Vector Space, by the way, it's an AI. So they do data normalization for artificial intelligence data. So they take basically unstructured data. So in the world of AI, it's AI processing takes it doesn't do well with unstructured data. So you need some machine learning in between what the AI is trying to do and what the data gets. So you take a bunch of data and you do some number crunching with machine learning. Machine learning goes through the ML part of it, kind of goes through and normalizes the data so that the AI can do something with it, something useful with it, more or less. And so the data that's coming in for use for the AI, that interchange of using the data and then pulling it into those engines to normalize it for AI uses, Vector Space is a go-between on that. So let me show you just their website real fast. So it's correlation data. So they do basically data correlation for AI. There you go. Simpler way of, I just said it very complicated. It's not magic, yada, yada, yada. Probably not the best time to buy right now, but that's definitely one to keep an eye on. Next question. Have you ever dabbled with automated trading bots? I use 3 commas by value. No, yes, I have. And I don't use them because for me, the time and energy they take to maintain them and stay on top of things, like the way that I trade, it's more of an investment style and I'm more long-term. And like the bots just don't work well for determining long-term trends and things like that. And I, with my eyes and with my brain, I can do better than bots, frankly, on like these longer-term positions. So I just don't mess with it much. I have played with it. I've had an algo running for a while. And if you don't maintain it and keep an eye on it, it kind of just goes sideways on you, or makes a little bit but not a whole lot, not worth your effort. That's what I've experienced when I mess with them. But that's something I maybe should try to get back into at some point. I'm sure they've improved since I first messed with them. I actually paid for a service probably a couple years ago now, and it was really focused on equities, right? It's really helped me be accurate, and I try to use a bot for trading equities, which also, here we go, which also is, when you have a market that's only open it's super obnoxious. But the nice thing is you don't have to think about it. You don't really think about your portfolio after hours too terribly much, right? And the bot's just kind of running. So when I got into crypto too, the other problem is like trying to watch what a bot's doing 24/7 is exhausting. And if you just let it run overnight and you have like really, small positions and stuff like that, I guess it's probably okay. I've heard people have done decently well with it, but I also have a customer that's a major high frequency trading shop. And I just know how much time and energy they put into it, and that's who you're competing against. That's the other piece of it, is with trading bots, you're competing against big players with a lot of money that have very proprietary software that have really low speed connections into the exchanges, and those are the ones soaking up all the money in the market on the short term stuff. So I stick to the longer term stuff so I can stay away from competing with those players. When CCT 5K? I don't know. Coinbase recently said that Polygon would be their layer 2 solution to reduce fees for their customers. Not really sure how that affects the UI or if that's all in the background. Polygon. Polygon would... Yeah, so if they connect into Polygon for making transactions, it'll... Yeah, so when you're buying and selling on an exchange, typically they keep a lot of whatever you're buying and selling as a market maker, right? They will keep a lot of the underlying asset enough to meet demand and whatever liquidity. But highly illiquid small coins, a lot of it's when you place an order, it's maybe an OTC order, which means over the counter, which means what they've done is they've actually gone into the market, the broad market, and they're looking for somebody actually selling that kind of smaller coin, and they're literally being the middleman for you. And if they do that and it's an Ethereum smart contract coin, they have to pay the full fee of moving that coin from their the wallet they bought to your wallet. So if they're using Polygon or Loopring or somebody else, it's a layer 2. Yeah, they can do that with a lot less transaction fee if they're dealing with OTC stuff, or even if they're just buying in very small batches, right, and maintaining liquidity. But it's a very illiquid asset. They have to maintain it in very small batches, and they make small sales. For if you have to make a bunch of small purchases and the fees are high, it eats into your profit. So, sure, that'll help. Do you trade? Okay, looking for plans from people more familiar with this space. So JD, you must have asked a question. I've heard Jordan's stance. Okay, here we go. I've heard Jordan's stance, but curious your BTC plan at cycle peak. Selling core spot, enduring taxable event, or merely closing loans for leverage positions and holding core coins. It totally depends on timing, because I'm the type that I'm gonna move that money. I already have business entities. I will move that. I will reinvest that money into businesses and grow side businesses, right? Or my Bitcoin mining operation or whatever. And so I will have tax write-offs. Now, if it comes down to it, so my plan is currently, if we looks like it's late December when we're peaking, I am going to go to the futures market and I'm going to buy hedges in the futures market. And I'm going to take a little bit of profit this year to split up my my tax burden and have a little bit of tax on the book for this year, but I already have some write-offs, and I'll have some last-minute things ready to do that I can try to manufacture some more write-offs. But I also have, it's going to be first in, first out, so the coins that I've held the longest, I've been holding for over a year, so I will get cap gains on those. But I'm going to try my best to take minimal profit this year, go to the futures market to hedge my position, and then take profits very early in next year. And then I have all year to figure out how to get tax write-offs. I am totally fine with taking the full brunt of the tax burden, because I'm the type of person that I'm going to reinvest that, and I'm gonna have initial startup costs that are going to offset most of that, and then I will put that in some kind of cash flow producing asset that then I can normalize my gains and that cash flow, and I'll keep reinvesting in those businesses. So that's the way that I operate. So I'm not gonna ever really have to endure the full brunt of it, because I'm gonna be inventive about investing in businesses, side businesses, or whatever else. So that's the way I look at it. That's the way I'll deal with it. If we peak in like October or November, I'll have to really consider carefully, because of the time that I have left to manufacture business write-offs, but I'll be able to find something in 2 months, right? I'm pretty sure I'll be able to buy a stake in a business or something like that, and then roll, any type of business, right? So, but say you bought something like a, construction business or something, right? You buy a stake of that construction business, and then you pay a lot of money to overhaul, say, they have a lot of equipment and trucks and big whatever, like dump trucks and whatever they might have. I don't know. And then you pay to overhaul a lot of that equipment and something like that, right? And then roll those losses. And that's the way I have tax people that'll tell me all that. Like, okay, yeah, you can do this, you can do that. This will help with this much with taxes. There's other ways also to offset your tax burden, especially if you have all year. So I won't be shy about taking profits off the table entirely in January, because I will figure out the tax situation for 2020. What year is it? 2022. I'll figure it out. I have all year to figure it out, so it's not a problem for me. So yeah, I will sell. I have, basically, without trying to divulge too much information, I have coins that I've had for a very long time that are on cold storage that I won't sell those. Those are those will be, you know, my son will inherit those type of thing, right? I'm never gonna. Those are coins that I mined in 2014, 2015. So I'm just never gonna sell them. Just I've made that decision. So that's that. All right, but another thing too is when you have equity like that. So when you've held them that long and you have equity in those, the other thing too is when it comes to business thing, you can take out loans against that equity. So if you can prove that you have that equity, right, instead of actually ever selling the coins, just borrow against them and then do something useful with that. You know, again, invest in some type of cash flow generating business or asset or something that gains more. You know, in cash flow than your interest outlay. This is not going to hit 50K, is it? Dang, I'm going forever here. I love ADA. Yep, 301. Boom. We all love ADA. It's a beast. It's a beast. The beast has awoken. And what I say, man, people tell me Binance is never going to pass up Binance. XRP is better than Cardano, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, right. Solana. I need to do a deep dive on Solana, don't I? I haven't done it myself. I've read through the white paper and I've looked at it and I went, this is not, like, same thing I did when I first really studied BNB, or really Binance Smart Chain, not BNB specifically. The coin is just, I've always liked BNB, the coin. I had it a long time ago. It was $15. But that was because I had a Binance account and I was using it for trading fees. But you know, it was worth it as a utility coin. But when it got to $500 on the back of BSC, Binance Smart Chain, and when I studied Binance Smart Chain, just like when I'm studying Solana, which is backed by the FTX exchange, they're both very centralized. They both are technically a decentralized blockchain, but they're not really. They're really venture capital backed, and they're built very centralized, just enough to be able to call themselves decentralized and call themselves, you know, a cryptocurrency, but they're not really. And Solana, it's way too much hardware requirements. There's only 2 days of storage in the blockchain, blah, 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 blah. I don't know why I'm going on about this, but I need to do a deep dive on it because my initial impression was not good, but it's up at 8. We've taken some trades on it. They've been okay trades. I could have pushed the trades a lot further. Never thought it would get this high. But, yeah, I don't have a hodl bag of that one. Why am I going in this list? I don't even know. I'm just waiting for Bitcoin to hopefully hit 50K so I can go to bed. I got to wake up tomorrow morning and talk with Alan. Word. Only BTC is decentralized. We need to stop misusing that word. As of right now today, yeah, you're right. You are absolutely right. Ethereum isn't even decentralized. It's decentralized. The truth is, especially before China kicked out the Bitcoin miners, the truth is that in mechanically, and speaking of pure technology, Ethereum was more decentralized than Bitcoin mechanically. And Cardano and Polkadot are certainly more decentralized mechanically than Bitcoin with the large mining operations that there are, right? So you can argue that mechanically, and Ethereum is still even technically, anything that's GPU mined is mined. So like Ethereum currently runs, if you think about this, right now today, Ethereum, the mining is 90% common people like me that have a couple mining rigs. Maybe, I don't know if it's 90% or if it's 50%. It's a big number of just average people running Ethereum mining on their gaming computers or their small GPU mining rigs, right? That is decentralization. That's more decentralized than Bitcoin. You know, I do have Bitcoin ASIC miners, but I'm the exception, not the rule. Most people who mine crypto are just doing it on a small scale with the GPU. So honestly, mechanically, the GPU mined coins are a lot more decentralized than Bitcoin. Where you're right is in governance, right? Because there's VC funding behind Ethereum, and especially like Solana and Binance Smart Chain and Cardano and so forth. There's also a founder that has a big say, or founders, and individuals that have a significant say and drive the projects. And so with that sense, they're definitely not decentralized, right? But they're also being still bootstrapped, right? They're still very early. So in computer terms, when you bootstrap something, you take it from nothing into something that's a running product. And with cryptocurrencies and the whole ecosystem, it's a lot to bootstrap an entire cryptocurrency project. And so, with Ethereum kind of going through it, going to ETH 2.0, but Cardano, Polkadot, Elrond, everybody else, it takes a lot to bootstrap those things, get them off the ground. So you do have to have a lot of centralized intervention while it gets going. So, but from a governance perspective, the only one that's truly decentralized is Bitcoin, certainly because we don't know who, in fact, Satoshi is. Adam Back is the most likely living person, I think, to be him, but, just as likely it was Hal Finney, but who knows? It doesn't matter. We don't know, and as long as we don't know, then it is truly decentralized. There is no one person that drives Bitcoin's direction. So that part is very true. However, another small caveat to that is, in the long run, when I really study, and I'm being completely fair about this, when I study Bitcoin mining operations and kind of the mining cartels and this whole, like, Michael Saylor put together this mining committee thing and the ESG stuff and all this stuff, Bitcoin mining is kind of centralized. And while the node operators largely have a say, that is, honestly, that's more for show, so that the miners can say that, as the node operators, they selected this, they went against. And that's my take on it. But I do think that Cardano will actually be the most decentralized cryptocurrency in the next couple of years, because of all the work they put into how they incentivize basically decentralization of the nodes right now with the K parameter. So what the K parameter on Cardano is it basically de-incentivizes too many people to stake to a single stake pool, so that one stake pool, so it pushes people to these smaller pools, and so you have a lot more pools, more evenly distributed coins. Now, in theory, somebody could, take over multiple pools roughly of stake through having a lot of ownership of the coins, but that's really a different topic, honestly. But they're going to continue to, with different parameters between reliability and then maybe some synthetic proof of work type assets. So this is why I've been talking about this more lately. I think that I've said this before. I think Bitcoin is going to be forced into proof of stake. And I didn't mean true, genuine proof of stake as we know it. I just mean a form of proof of stake. And I'm going to start calling it synthetic proof of work, because I think this is what Bitcoin's going to move to. And I think this is what, even like Cardano, you start listening to Charles talk about this, they're talking about introducing synthetic versions of this, right? So proof of idle would be a version of this, where basically, instead of having the miners around the world constantly actually mining and running full power hashing, they actually idle down, and there's a fully random synthetic selection that, based on your proven hash power, right? So you actually you run for a little while, and maybe every couple of cycles you run at full power, just the network validates your hashing potential, and then you idle back down. So maybe 75% of the time you're idle, 25%, something like that. But as you're idling, there's a synthetic resource that goes around, and based on the mining power, it randomly selects the next miner, instead of that miner actually having to find the the nonce value plus the Merkle tree combination that hashes out to a number of leading zeros that's needed to be selected as the miner, right? It synthetically does that. So your miners around the world are largely offline, and it kicks in the event of a Byzantine behavior or external threat, right? So if somebody starts attacking the network, and or you have fake nodes trying to join the network, then everybody flips from idle to actually running full proof of work and secures the network. And the algorithm says, okay, we're under attack, we're under a Byzantine condition, and the network quickly rallies around, okay, we're going to switch, and we're actually going to start finding the nonce value, the hash value that we need, and then we can until that attacker quits, and then we can idle back down, right? And then maybe it's like the network runs at 25% capacity or 10% capacity. If it's a really good day, there's nobody doing anything bad, we run at 10% capacity, have the miners run 10% of the time. But if something Byzantine behavior starts to kick in, we spin up all the way up to 100% capacity, and the network is secure. But it uses less power. This would be an example. There's better ways in this kind of a crude mechanism, but there are better ways to synthetically introduce the equivalent. So what this part right here, what Bitcoin miners want is they want selection mechanism rooted in physics that's external to the system, that proves that you put some type of energy or work or your investment into it to come out with the outcome. There are ways to do this synthetically without burning all the electricity. And so now with proven randomness and everything else, true proven randomness, Chainlink has a service. You can connect into Chainlink and get true, mathematically verifiable proven randomness. And that's really all you need. It's some sort of provable randomness that synthetically does the same thing that you were doing physically with finding these values. And so I think that the proof of stake networks, and I've heard Charles Hoskinson of Cardano talk about introducing something like this into the selection mechanism for Cardano. So if they were to do something like that, then and they reward node operators on both stake they have staked with the network and reliability and proof of some like a proof of history or proof of storage, where you prove that you're willing to store the full blockchain. So what we can do is we can condense the blockchain by truncating it multiple ways, but somebody somewhere has to store the full blockchain so that we can go back and provably improve the entire history of the blockchain. And so that over time is going to become a huge requirement to store all that. So we can also introduce in these proof of stake system proofs of storage. So if you're willing to store the full blockchain, you should be rewarded for burning all that storage capacity for that. And so that's another element that can be introduced into these proof of stake blockchains. So all that said, I do think that because Cardano and these other proof of stake networks have an edge on the Bitcoin network in figuring this out, I do honestly believe, and especially with what Cardano's put together, this is also what gives me Cardano. This is why I continue to say that Cardano, I've been researching Elrond, it's great, Polkadot's great, and I do like Cardano Foundation. I do really like. Where's the Cardano roadmap? I haven't looked this up in so long. Sorry, I'm doing this. Well, I don't know where I got off. I do like a lot of these other projects, but none of them put the thought into the long term. I haven't seen it yet. Maybe some of the other projects have really thought this through. But this right here, this governance piece, the treasury system, the way they're doing the treasury system, the long term viability of making Cardano truly decentralized. If you read about what they've actually done and the research they've done and they put into when we get to this stage of rolling out the full treasury and governance, it really truly, as far as I've read, will by far be the most decentralized of the cryptocurrencies. So, so all of that said, I do think, back to your comment about currently today, you're right. But at some point in the future, when you have proof of stake networks that are running much more efficiently than proof of work, that have synthetic derivatives of that, so that we have this nice mix of efficiency and external, rooted in physics requirements that further prevent somebody from collecting all the coins and being the Uber, the controlling the ecosystem. You start to bring in these other, reliability of your node, proof of history. And proof of history is rooted in physics. It really, it's how many ones and zeros you can store. That's a physics, a component. Proof of history, and then any synthetic proof of work derivatives, the ability for you to compute maybe smart contracts. So, as we get to faster and faster and more complex smart contracts, you're going to need more compute power for that. So if you are able to compute, smart contracts, maybe a different level of smart contracts, something we're not even thinking about right now that requires more compute power, maybe that can be a synthetic derivative of, a kind of proof of work style component to it. But nonetheless, you get the idea. When you start to introduce all these other things, they can become quite decentralized in the very same way that Bitcoin and its proof of network is, but it would require the founders to step away and to not be involved anymore. So I think Charles has kind of indicated with Cardano, he's planning to do that at some point. He's going to be completely hands off and go do something else with his life, like I don't know, philanthropy or something. I don't know what he's going to do, plant his plants or have his goats or whatever. If he were to truly step away and it's really run by the community and it's really the full Voltaire governance system is fully in place and they've introduced some of these other synthetic, non-pure proof of stake, how many coins you have is how much control you have of the network, but it's really a nice hybrid of things external to how much stake you have, then it will be truly decentralized and that argument will just be of null and void. So I went on a bit of a rant there, but Cardano is also the one breaking out more than Bitcoin is, so maybe that's a fair rant. This is why Cardano is leading. I know it's probably 60%, 70% hype, but there's reasons for it. There's real reasons why it's so strong, and it's number 3, and it continues to $3, 95. It's about to hit 100. Look at that. Cardano's really the big news of the night, more than Bitcoin might be hitting 50K. It would be Cardano hitting 100. It would be the third project ever to hit a $100 trillion market cap. The third ever. And you talk about, all the stuff I talked about, that's why, right? That's why. That's why it's going to be the third project ever to hit $100 billion market cap. It's because it's basically an infinitely scalable, decentralized blockchain, smart contract, platform. But it's also got all this other stuff figured out, like for the long-term sustainability of it all. I know there's going to be Elrond people that are going to get all over me. I haven't, I'll be honest with you guys. I'm doing more due diligence on Elrond. I do understand that some of the concerns I had with kind of their tokenomics and how many, it's not as bad as it might appear. I need to get to the bottom of some of the tokenomics and the long-term governance pieces. I haven't been able to really spend time on that just yet, so I will do that a fair shake. And Ethereum, people yell at me about Ethereum too, Ethereum 2.0. I don't, the honest truth is, Ethereum 2.0 doesn't have this type of thing in the roadmap, right? They're still very focused on just scaling up. Like, just how do we get out of this mess that we're in with these crazy, fees and stuff. That's all. They haven't really thought about the long-term governance. Now, they've already kind of been there. They've already kind of done this to some degree, but it's... Vitalik's much more let's just blow and go and figure it out as we go. And so they haven't stopped to think this through, whereas Cardano has. And that's a big... literally, out of all this is the biggest piece why I think Cardano separates itself. This is it, right here. The long-term decentralization and governance. That's where Cardano separates itself from everybody else as far as what I've been able to research. Honest review of military finance. I gotta thank you. Military finance. Let's take a quick look at that. I haven't looked at that one, I don't think. Military finance. Let's talk about it. Wow, it's a fraction of a penny. 35.51. Small micro cap. This is worth me doing some research on. Let's see here. If it's a small micro cap, somebody's bringing it up and putting a super chat in here that they must be really convinced this is a good project. So Narwhal downloading the entire blockchain. It's launched on the Binance Smart Chain, focused on providing financial and most support. For military veterans that return home from the battlefield through direct donations, partnerships, lifestyle we lives because the heroes are working to protect us. So, mission-wise, giving back to people that have served, you can't say anything wrong about the mission, right? Let me... Earn rewards, help heroes. So this is, I guess, is it some way that this is a system that you can, indirectly help veterans returning home? There's probably help a vet, this is not the video game Call of Duty, right? Is it really the Call of Duty gameplay for 13 months? Oh, wow. So they're tied into Call of Duty somehow? I think that the mission alone is going to get a lot of, if they're true to their mission here, that's going to give it a lot of validity. I don't have a good read for you on, you know, what. Although I do have. Oh, they have a AR. Nice. It's got a Bitcoin. That's cool. So they actually sell the first ever Bitcoin AR-15 auction. That's a little Bitcoin logo on it. So if I'm in Texas, so this is like a thing that we do here, right? So I might just check this out later for this. You get the Pancake Swap is where you can get it. View chart. Oh, nice. We can get a chart on it. Let's take a look at the chart. How far out can I go? 12 hours is the furthest I can go out. Let's go 12 hours. Again, I'm not a short-term trader. I can't really get much on the chart here. You know, I don't know about the technology. Do they have is this just like literally you can buy this token and it makes its way to veterans? Is that kind of the idea here, Justin? Because I'm not finding much on like a tech front here. This is you know, it helps veterans. It's a coin that they launched on Binance Smart Chain, and be on the lookout for what comes next. I mean, something to watch. Maybe we can bookmark this one to keep an eye on what comes next with it, because I don't really know. But the Bitcoin AR-15 auction, I might be interested in. Oh, here we go. Here's a chart. There we go. Very good. Let's go take a look at the chart. Has Bitcoin done anything here? 640. It's not going to hit 50K. Let's go take a look at the chart. All right, here's the military USDT on the chart that I can get here. M_USDT. I could probably find that on actual trading view, but can y'all see that screen pretty well? Yeah, from a charting perspective, I mean, it's sitting on. I don't know if this is really supposed to be like an investment. I have no idea if that's kind of the play with it. It looks like it's just kind of flat here, so I'm guessing this is just. You buy this coin and it flows into somehow it makes its way to veterans. I don't see, like, I'm not sure if you're trying to make money on this or if you're just talking about like the ethos of it. There's not a lot to do here. I mean, if I was trading this thing, it's just going sideways, so I wouldn't trade it. I just wait for. I mean, obviously it spiked a few times, kind of randomly. How big of a move is that actually? Is that moving more than I think it is? Looks like it's not. 370% on a spike like that. Yeah, I mean, this is just a pure, like, it's just in a downtrend, right? So, honestly, from like a charting and investment perspective, you just short these pops. When it pops, just short it. I wouldn't know. This is too random. You don't know. There's no way to know when to pick the top or the bottom of this thing. So, yeah. So, I think I get the ethos behind the project, but I don't think there's much to do from a charting or trading perspective on it, unfortunately. I don't have much for you there. It's just like too sideways and too random. ADA 301. The top altcoin I'm trading right now. I'm building a position in Elrond. That's more of a long term. I'm staking that, so I'm not trading that. I would say the biggest trade I have on right now. Somebody asked me about Matic today. I did add some right here. That's probably the biggest trade is I bought Matic coming into support right here. So I did buy in this breakout. I'll just share with you guys. So, you know, not all trades work out like I was talking about earlier. We had a breakout retest resumption. And it was a false retest resumption. I must have traded on a lower time frame. It must have been a 4 hour. Yeah, I think right here. Here you go. So this right here, I had bought on this. Right there on that breakout, retest, resumption. So I bought at whatever that level is right there. And I got stopped out over here. Somewhere, right? I don't think I actually got stopped out. Yeah, maybe I did. I don't remember. I thought I remember closing this manually. I thought I got out of here a little bit earlier. But anyway, either that or I had a lower stop loss. Oh, that's why, yeah. That's why. My stop loss would have been down here somewhere. So I had the stop loss initially down here that's right. So this is on Gemini. This is on Gemini, so I have to trade versus the USD pairs where I bought and traded this. So I was watching this chart, I sold as we came up into here and it got rejected, but I sold on the USD chart. That's why nothing's lining up for me. Yep. So I actually bought and sold it on the USD chart. So I bought the breakout over here and would have sold basically break even over here for that trade. And then I bought back at this support test. What I'm doing is I'm actually trading the USD chart technically because I have to trade the USD pair on Gemini because I can't trade Matic to Bitcoin. But I watch this chart, right? And I do my trade and risk management on this chart. That makes more sense now. So breakout there. Stop loss would have been down here initially. I manually did a stop there right as break even. And I added back right here. So that's my biggest trade currently. Probably the most active with Matic. I did put a trade on Link too. So Link is also available on Gemini. So the way I trade is right now I'm mostly trading on just Gemini for just getting in and out of. That's Litecoin. I don't have a trade on Litecoin. I have a trade on Link. So yeah, I took this breakout retest resumption, this breakout right here on Link, and I'm still in that trade. Looks like I might get stopped out on it actually. I'll have to keep an eye on that. I missed this earlier. But yeah, so Matic and Link are my two most active right now, and I'm building positions. This is a long-term position I'm building currently on Elrond. I initially bought here, coming to the support. I actually first bought, yeah, and then I added some on this breakout, and I'm waiting. I added on that test right there, and I'm waiting for another just retest of a support level to add some more Elrond, possibly. I gotta map that out. So it's 3 entries so far. And what I did to buy Elrond, Elrond's kind of hard to buy. It's not available everywhere. I actually had to use crypto.com. So I had set up an account for crypto.com a long time ago just to play with it. And it was kind of backed by Visa, I think, or involved with Visa. So I was messing with it. So I sent Bitcoin over to crypto.com. So if anybody wants to know where I got it. Some people have asked me where the heck I got Elrond. So I bought it on crypto.com with Bitcoin, and then I sent it to the MyR wallet and staked it there. The MyR wallet is the exchange wallet for Elrond, the MyR exchange that's built on Elrond. That was a super helpful explanation on Cardano. ADA probably pumped for 11 more days than dump. I think it'll pump less than 11 days. I do think Mary's hard fork, if y'all remember, on ADA, over here. This was the Mary's hard fork early February, so we pumped really hard coming up into that Mary's hard fork. That crazy liquidity spike down right there. And then we sold off a little bit and just consolidated after the Mary's hard fork. I expect the same thing. I expect this, but the Mary's hard fork actually happened right here, roughly. So it already started selling off. I kind of expect the same thing. I kind of expect, I think about taking a little bit off the table with Cardano if we break up big here to like 360. With the intent of buying it back at 240. But I'm kind of looking for something similar to happen. Break up, 350 or so, and then consolidate sideways. And like what happened with BNB had their mainnet launch. They were quiet for a while, then a bunch of projects, and SushiSwap announced their, and a few other things, and then it started to run like crazy. So I think Cardano will have a quiet period while people migrate from testnet to the production network. And as those projects announce that they're moving over, and going live, then that'll create new buzz and it'll run again after some consolidation. But it's not going to be instant, I don't think. I think it'll sell off ahead of the event, be a sell the news event a little bit, consolidate, and then take a fresh round of hype. XLM, MoneyGram acquisition. I love XLM. I love Steller. I've made some really great trades on XLM. I no longer have a hodl bag on it. I thought a long time ago that XLM might get some more love with XRP. People who had invested in XRP flowing in XLM as a proxy instead of. But what I think's happened is I think a lot of the XRP holders just really holding out hope for them beating the SEC. And S coins. Yes, I think XRP holders, they initially, a lot of them may have moved to Cardano actually and other projects, maybe even Doge, whatever else. But yeah, I don't think that they all picked up that they could have moved to Steller, which is basically a forked open source version of XRP. So yeah, XLM. So the MoneyGram acquisition. XLM was already a pretty great project, and I already really like it a lot. I think the MoneyGram thing is, I don't I don't know if it's going to help him a whole lot, to be honest with you. I don't really know. But it got a nice bounce here off of this bottom here I was watching. I don't have a trade on it currently. This is one I watch regular, and I do trade it pretty regular. It's very liquid. Why is it way down here, XLM? I should have it. Yeah, right there. There it is. You see that? I trade it versus BTC. That's what I'm watching. Kind of this, you see this broadening microphone pattern I drew on it. Kind of a broadening wedge on it. But yeah, so what I'm watching for, the reason I haven't traded, I guess, is because we've been going sideways. So I've got some good trades here, and then we've been out since it's been going sideways against Bitcoin. So yeah, I guess through April and May I had some good trades on it. Then I've been out for a while now, waiting for the next setup. But I love XL. I mean, it's up. You see it, like if you look, here's my top projects, and I don't talk about LTC. I don't hold, and XLM I don't hold long term, but they're so liquid, and especially XLM I like. I don't have anything against Litecoin. I don't have, especially Charlie Lee. I don't have anything against him. I mean, he's already sold his Litecoin for the most part, right? I don't have anything against Litecoin. This chart doesn't look exciting to me. I know there's some people out there that are expecting this humongous, like, man, it's not how this type of look. This is more of a downtrend, and it's more just kind of riding this, support, and it could lose the support, and then slowly make its way down to zero. Right, and if I blow this up, I've done this before, right? You blow this up big enough, when you drop below that support, then all of a sudden this becomes a big chasm, right? You start trading in smaller increments as you make your way down to zero, and zero, it'll feel like a long way down once you break that support. So Litecoin's a long-term trade for me. I'm not long-term. It's not a long-term hold. It's just a trade. Liquid, very liquid. Stellar is what I'd be willing to hold. I did for a while hold it, but there's so many other projects, so much stuff going on that I just don't have room for that many small things, and so I just kind of consolidated a while back. Jordan beefing with on-chain on Twitter. Oh, I need to go check this out. Good evening, late to the party. Let's see what we got here. Is it difficult to get mining for a top 50 coin? Well, so I use NiceHash. This is like the evil empire of mining, but I've been mining so long and I'm so sick of managing. I want to share that. That's my actual dashboard. Inactive. I have inactive rigs. Why are my rigs inactive? Hold on. Wait a minute. One of my mining rigs is. 2 of my mining rigs are down. That's not good. What happened to my mining rigs? Are they offline? Oh, phooey. Ha! Looks like my Bitcoin miners went offline. At least one of them. I gotta check this out. They've been running non-stop for... Oh, one's online. Yeah, one's down. I gotta reboot it or something. Interesting. I'll deal with that later. But yeah, so I use NiceHash. NiceHash is what to mine. NiceHash mining profitability. There we go. So what they do is they automatically switch between. So it's a marketplace, and people actually buying your mining power and to mine whatever coin they want to mine. And so you can buy hashing power, right? And so I'm selling my hashing power to the marketplace and randomly mining whatever it is that people are paying the most for. So that's just what I recommend people start with, is just this, because you get paid in Bitcoin, and it constantly is finding the most profitable thing to mine, and it's so much less work than having to manage mining pools and switch between mining pools and different, which one's the lowest cost and which ones are mining which coins, and it's a lot more work than it's worth, in my opinion, now that I've done this a while, than just to point everything at NiceHash and have I've got all my GPU miners and my ASIC miners all pointed at the same place. They're all managed under one. I can see them all in one place. I can see who's online, offline, start my rigs, stop my rigs, get health checks, see what my mining profitability is, whatever, all in one place. So I don't have to manage all these different things. So this is what I use. It's super simple. Okay, so Narwhal Tacos, super helpful on... So okay. Download the entire blockchain for my first BTC node right now. When BTC is breaking up while Brandon is streaming and drinking rum, life is good. Yeah, I got I got wine here. It's getting late, guys. I'm gonna go to bed. Bitcoin's gonna disappoint us all, not hit 50K while I'm doing this. But Cardano hit $3. This music I have on is like, what am I listening to? This chill synthwave is getting like way too chill for me. Oh, I'm going to some 80s retro to end this. All right, can you show BTCD on an 8-hour or 12-hour chart? Yeah, I can. Let's do my 12. Crypto, I do 12 hours. There's my BTC 12-hour chart. So this little fractal, what I did is I grabbed. It's not really a fractal, I guess. Sure. Somebody got mad at me on Twitter for calling this a fractal, and yeah, they're right. I mean, I don't blame them. I also said you're a fun sucker. I said it was for fun. This is not like I was not being serious with that post. I was just doing it for fun. So I said quit being a fun sucker. But you see this huge sell-off, right? Let's look at the markings, right? So this is kind of a fractal, and this was the before Bitcoin made its parabolic top. So this was when Ethereum made its big run mid 2017, and then Bitcoin went on its big blow off top, and Bitcoin peaked, right here roughly at $19,000. So you see how this part of the price action, big sell off, and it's just an error on this chart. There should be a big down line just like this. So a little spike and then big down, a little spike and then big down. Very similar, fractal, if you'll call it that. Then basically a consolidation and like a wedge, and then so here we have consolidation and a big wedge. We did, and we broke to the downside, which we didn't really break to the downside as convincingly this time as we have this time. But then you take this spike down right here, right? So say there was a spike down, and then a big move on Bitcoin, and a spike down, lower liquidity the last cycle, and then Bitcoin peaked here, and then alt season 2 was this huge move. So what I did is I took this price action over here. Now, it's probably something you want to show me, so I should probably go look at that. But I took that little bit of price action from that spike down right here through this peak over here, and I just overlaid it and said, I'd grabbed all kinds of different variations of this thing. But it's when I grabbed from that spike down to this spike right here and put it up here, I went, oh my God, that's cool. It like perfectly touches it. The initial move from where we're at comes right up into the box I was looking at. My initial this is the possibly peak of Bitcoin. This is where Bitcoin somewhere peaks out over here, and we need to go to alt season. And because it was lower liquidity last time, it made this big. This spike is obviously not going to happen like that, but maybe it gets initially rejected type of thing, and then it goes back up. But what's interesting, it did come right back down to that support level on that low liquidity spike down. But then it, and then it turned around, right? That's what I was interested in. So I'm going to leave it on there for fun. So people can yell at me and tell me it's not a fractal. Fine, whatever. It's just me having fun. So what is it that you wanted to look at on the 12-hour chart here? This is what I have. I have an ascending wedge. Big downtrend, ascending wedge. We broke down out of the ascending wedge. And so we've had this mini DeFi. I was kind of pig-headed and didn't take any alt trades on this breakdown right here. Also, the breakdown happened really fast, and I didn't get a good retest, and so I wasn't necessarily pig. I don't think I really had the opportunity to do much with this because it broke down out of this channel. It looked like it was going to break down, it looked like a false breakdown, and then it broke down real fast. And this was our opportunity to enter some long alts, but I didn't do that here. I did here. So I was not stubborn here, so when I saw this pattern forming, we broke to the downside. This is where I started taking alt trades. So this was Matic, Link. I started building an Elrond position on this move, stuff like that, right? So that's if you want my take on what's going on with it. If you see, we have this long-term downtrend that we're cutting right through. We're coming right back into support there. It is forming a descending wedge now. Very slight, but it's a bit of a descending wedge there. If you put the bottom at this long-term trend line and the top, coming in there. So we're getting a little bit of bounce. And I had this line on long before we got this bounce. Like this has been here for a month. Right, that line's been there for a month at least. And then that's where we got the bounce, right? So if Bitcoin does go ahead and break 50K here and makes it starts the start of a big run, if it gets to the upside of this descending wedge, basically what you have here is two kind of canceling out. This pattern, the breakdown happened. You probably got roughly close to the measured move you're looking for. Now you're looking for a breakup to the upside. This is all a lot of consolidation. So you can get to the top here and go range bound. If it breaks to the upside of this, that's where the big moves happen. Like, so you have a really big move after that. So we'll see what happens. Just watching it. But yeah, so I've got this ascending wedge. We had the breakdown. We had a smaller kind of a triangle pattern here that then broke down. So that's where I've been taking trades off of that. And, you know, watching this, I need to take profits if we start to bounce off of this trend line here at some point. I need to keep an eye on that. Let's go to a really low time frame. Yeah, so we just made this bounce probably almost while I've been live here. You know, I haven't really. But if I draw a really steep downtrend, we broke that. So what I'll do now is I will, as we come back into this to retest, if it looks like we're going to resume up right around here, I'll start taking profits on my alt trades that I have open back in the BTC and then just monitor from there and see if we reverse, enter consolidation, or what. It has bullish engulfing on 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour. All right, so bullish engulfing is when the bullish candle completely, like, so when the bullish candle is bigger than the bearish candle, right? So you look here, it's not super clean bullish engulfing right there, but this one is, right? That bullish candle completely engulfed that candle. So when you look at what he's talking about, bullish engulfing, right? This big green candle completely engulfed that red candle right there. Means it covered it up. It was a bigger move than that. Now over here, this one was close. Yeah, another one, another kind of, this is, you know, pretty close, right? This wick was a lot higher than that. So that whole candle, you know, the whole candle, the length of the entire candle, but this is one solid body. So when you see this on a chart, when you see, you know, coming into some kind of support level you're watching, and you see a gargantuan green candle, is nothing but green, no wick at all, that was strong bullish reaction. And so you can probably bet you're going to have some consolidation and continuation out of that. I would say normally when you see just a big, just really, but this is a 1 hour. I mean, like if it's a longer time frame, it would mean more. All right, guys, let's see. Let's wrap this thing up. This ain't gonna hit 50K, but we got an ADA. I might just rename this. Let's just rename this. I'm gonna edit it right now. ADA $3 watch party. Renaming it. Let's see if Cardano can hit $3. I don't care. I'm having fun. I was up late with you guys on this thing talking about. I don't know what the heck I was even talking about tonight, so I can have some fun. And all right, guys. Any other last minute questions before we take off? Let me just run through. Newbie question: when someone gets hacked, your coin is removed from the ledger and can't be recovered, or not? You backed it broke, or you have to go sue the brokerage to get it back. Thanks. Okay, so John, go watch my introduction videos. The blockchain works a whole lot different. Like if you have your coins on exchange and you lose your coins, what's happening is it's an open ledger. So when you say you don't actually own anything. All you have is spending power on a ledger, right? So you have a ledger entry that says that you can spend this many coins. And if somebody hacks, you know, your wallet or something, they can transfer the coins off of your wallet onto their wallet, and the ledger now simply shows that you don't have the spending power. You no longer can spend those coins, right? And if that happens to you, those coins are lost. There's nobody. It's a decentralized system. There's nobody that can go recover those coins for you. Now, if you buy on an exchange and the exchange gets hacked, they may or may not have some insurance, and they may make you whole. Based on if it was their problem, and it's a big exchange, they're probably going to do something about it and restore your funds somehow. But yeah, if you buy and you self-custody and you lose it, it's just lost. That's the way it works. So be careful. Oh, thank you, Joseph. Alan P. tomorrow. Alan P., our Ethereum expert. It's tomorrow. Saturday morning is Alan Au, which that video will be out Monday. Or I guess I maybe posted earlier, I don't know. But I was planning to posting my Alan Au video Monday morning. I'm talking to him Saturday, and tomorrow morning is Alan P. I actually got my funds back on Uphold after my account got hacked. Well, that's good. No problem. Charts look terrible, but they're saying they're getting articles published in Forbes. Mill. Oh, Justin. Okay, Justin, let's see here. Sorry, so I did your review. Okay, 8% back to organizations. Tokenomics should be on the website. Also saying they're about to be hyper deflationary. Which, can you elaborate on that? Just want an outside opinion long term. Okay, military. They're supposed to be hyper deflationary. Let's see if I can get their economics here. So what hyper deflationary means, if what you're asking is, it means that there should be less of that currency in supply and available. So and really, when you say deflationary, you're talking about like a monetary asset. You typically mean that there's less of it available, therefore the purchasing power of what's left over is going up. Technically speaking, deflationary at a more macro level, when they talk about inflationary versus deflationary, deflationary is when the cost of goods goes down. And what causes deflationary pressures is when there's too much supply, not enough demand, and then merchants have to start really discounting prices to entice consumers, and then inflation happens when there's too much supply, not enough demand, right? So you have a money printer going crazy, printing tons of money, and things start to inflate. So let's see, 1 trillion tokens, liquid pool. So liquidity pool keys burn forever. So they're going to burn. So yeah, they're literally taking. So they started with 1 trillion, and they're going to be burning tokens. 8% fee on transactions, 5% for holding, 3% to liquidity. Rewards from holding. Holders receive 5% mill tokens directly to their wallet for every token transaction. 75% goes to selected charities, 15% to operations, 10% goes to fuel marketing. Phase 1, where are they at? Do you know? Phase 1, 2, 3, where are we at on this? Marketing push, first donations, white paper. So I'm waiting on a white paper. For me to give you much of anything, I need a white paper. That's what I do. I'm a technology person. I read the white paper. Here it is. Download a white paper. Boom! This is what I do. All right, so I can help you out here. Let's take a look. This is a very pretty, glossy white paper. Binance Smart Chain BB20 token. PancakeSwap BitSmart. Tokenomics. There you go. 1 trillion tokens. 90 billion split between several wallets, donations, wallet holders, 3% locked up. Donation distribution. Once mill reaches 5,000 holds the cones, and the donation wallet will be transferred. Specifications: 70% transferred to veteran charities, 50% for operations, 10,000 for the growth of the coin. In the event donation wallet exceeds 5%, liquidity pool remains tokens to be burned. This ensures is that the right? Isn't that spelt wrong? Isn't it supposed to be Ian? I guess I got that wrong. Okay, that is correct. I don't know. I'm just getting late, guys. I'm tired. Roadmap. How long have they been around? When was this published? We have a date on this thing. How many dates? This is their version 2 of the white paper, though. So I mean, that seems reasonable. So yeah, it's gonna be burned. Got it. So ongoing charitable events, education programs, membership levels, rewards are delivered, intervals sent out. All right, so basically this is a hybrid. Initially it's inflationary, then it goes deflationary. So there's going to be some rewards and some things that are done with goes lock liquidity pool. So yeah, it looks like it's initially inflationary. It's why it's going down in value right now as they grow the core liquidity pool, and then they will flip in the event there will be some burning if a donation exceeds 5%. A liquidity pool, the remaining tokens will be burned. They're locked in the liquidity pool otherwise. I don't. I'm trying to figure out marketing, veteran charities. So 75% of the donations go to veteran charities, access tokens. Yeah, either my brain's not working or I'm not seeing how this is supposed to be an investment. This is supposed to be a charity. I don't see where the investment piece. Yeah, I honestly just don't know. I guess if you hold early, is this one of these things? If you hold early and you keep your liquidity locked, that as more donations come in, then you'll eventually get your donation back and start making money, and you'll have donated. Is that the idea? I'm not 100% sure. I'm missing that. So there's other, obviously there's other projects that are incentivize people to hold. It's basically like a organized Ponzi scheme where, you get in early, you get paid rewards, and the people that, when you sell out, you lose, as the value goes up. If you sell, you lose something. I forget how, some of these programs work. But sounds like something maybe like that, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm really not. This is not my cup of tea when it comes to understanding these. This is more of a charity coin. This is not like a project that I can really review very well. This is like a charity thing that I just don't understand that well, honestly. All right, guys, gonna wrap up. Sorry, Justin, I couldn't do more for you on the mill here. I mean, I guess the ethos is the main thing behind it. It looks like a charity more than an investment to me, but maybe I'm just getting it wrong. I don't really know. All right, guys. ADA 3, Bitcoin 49.6, consolidating above. Okay, we've broken. The good thing is we've broken this week. Is that a weekly level? Let's take a look at this. Here's ultimately what I think we've done tonight, which is good for Bitcoin. This was the weekly resistance that we put in. So that was that one red weekly candle. I'm going to show you all this. Before we go, this is probably the most important thing I'm going to say about technical analysis tonight. It's a very simple thing, but just looking at, this is more like cycle modeling, like looking at last cycle. Check this out. On the weekly, what I noticed was, where was it at? Where did I notice this at? Right here. This point right here where we had this big breakout past the all-time high. This is like what we're saying is, the shakeout that we're having now. I call this a summer doldrums, and I was talking about this for months and months. From June until September, we really kind of went sideways on Bitcoin in 2017, and you had a big early peak, and instead of peaking in March, it peaked in early June, right? And then it cooled off quite a bit. So very similar. This time we peaked in. Was it? Hold on, I'm losing my bearings here. We peaked in basically May. Yeah, May. So, right. We peaked a little bit earlier this time, and then hopefully we'll exit a little bit earlier. But what I was noticing was the last little red candle of this particular consolidation was one quick red weekly candle. But this feed, this feed isn't as good. Look at my BLX chart. Hold on a second. I was noticing there was one small red candle, one small weekly candle, and then it took back off. I guess I'm wrong. I guess I was looking at this wrong. But yeah, I saw like a small red weekly candle that it took off. But I kind of thought it was important for us to have a red candle. So what we've accomplished tonight is the market has broken back above that resistance right there. That weekly resistance was a big deal. That top, when this big 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks of green weeklies, we had our first red weekly last week to close the month. And that's going to be some strong resistance. That's the one place the bears try to take over, and the bears have now failed taking that over as we pushed above it. Now, of course, we have a long time to the end of the week, so maybe the bears can regain and push it back below, which would probably signal that we're going to test lower levels like 41K. However, should we now hold this level that we've now broken for the first time since this little test over here, this initial rejection, a couple hours, we've now held it for going on 2 hours. If we continue to hold above this, that's going to be extremely bullish, especially if we can close the weekly back above this level. that's a signal that we have more upside ahead of us. We've also broken out of this little bit of consolidation as well, so looking good. Not going to hit 50K tonight, but ADA, congrats all the ADA holders out there. $3 ADA is here, 303, and she's still cooking. Yeah, I do too. You know, on the ADA, the comment is that he regrets not buying ADA at 105. I mean, this is where I was a little bit stubborn. I didn't buy as much back here so I got out like 80% of my ADA on this big spike with the intent to buy back, but I bought back instead of buying ADA here. I bought Bitcoin at 32,000 right there. So I'm still up, but I only bought a little bit of my ADA back, I think equivalent of like what would have been 10% of my ADA back over here, right? So I got ADA back to 10% of my portfolio basically, and then I bought the rest of it was Bitcoin at 32K. Same pattern, right? I mean, I talked about this ad nauseum on my channel. When we broke back above here, we had a really good signal. I think it was actually, this is what keyed me in, this green, that right there, and that little bit of that breakout retest resumptions where I got back in 32.3. So I used those funds to buy Bitcoin at least. So I guess in theory, while I've lost, I would have been better off buying 100% back into Cardano. I'm up 52% on Bitcoin. Where's ADA? I would have been up probably a lot more. Cardano, taking the same entry. Yeah, 147%. So yeah, I regret not at least putting 50-50 back in ADA. That was a mistake. There you go. Another mistake I made. All right, guys. Very nice. Great video, thank you. All right, we've been on way too long, and we're not going to hit 50K at this moment in time. So I'm going to wrap up here. Let's throw back our Dogecoin. This has been a long session, my goodness. I hope you guys got something out of it. A fun watch party, but it is getting really late. I got to get up in the morning. My Doge wave. Good night. Closing out on our wireless.